Alright guys, Jungle Bob here. So today we're going to be repairing a Stihl br700 blower. The choke shaft is broke on the carburetor. Also, while we got it here, we're going to see if we can't go ahead and adjust the valves. I doubt they've ever been done. And we're just going to check out a few things. Primer bulb looks like it's busted. Just a few little details on it. We're going to see if we can't get it running for you guys. Anyway, if you guys are interested, stay tuned and we'll get right into it. Alright guys, so we got this Stihl BR, it says 600 but it's a 700. He just changed the recoil starter on it. He brought it over yesterday and notice right in there it's missing the choke shaft. Now I don't know how he broke that off clean. I guess it's what the Moore medic says, trailer abuse, and it looks to me like the primer bulb's cracked. I don't know if you can see that. So we're going to take this off. I don't have a new carburetor on hand, but I do have a couple of used ones, like this one right here that I've rebuilt. Hopefully it'll work for him. He says he wants me to try to get it, have a little more power too. So that's going to be another issue with it. But so we're going to tear this thing apart and get that carburetor off and see if we can't get it going, running a little bit better for him. Stay tuned. So pretty simple to take these 600s apart. There's been a couple videos lately on these, but let's get over here. We're going to take the air filter cover off. It's a T27. Covers just come off. Seen a lot of these the last couple of days. I saw Henry Morowski did a tune-up on one. A couple of days ago I saw, I think the Mechanic did one. Anyway, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 screws. Get those out. Spark plug boot, just kind of twist it. That one's on there tight, so we don't want to pull that boot loose. And you got to take the recoil off. Looks like that one's stripped. Don't know what's going on with that one. And that just comes right off. So feels like it's still got good compression. And I do not want to mess that up. So let me go get something and see if we can't work that loose. So I got it loose without damaging it too bad. And I may not have got the screw out good down here. And I did not. And it helps if you got a long bit like this so you can get in here. Having a little trouble this morning. Alright. And you just back through here like that. Covers off. Now, important on these, you don't want to lose these rings that go in here, these little inserts that go in here, because that keeps the recoil starter at its right gap. And what I've noticed is a lot of these come in here and they're missing these. They go in from the back side. So like if they fall out, I take me a little super glue. I clean this up and put a little super glue to hold them in. Because what happens is, and a lot of people don't know this, if those are not there, this plastic on the inside of the recoil will start rubbing up against the flywheel here, and it gets hot and it melts, and that's what messes up your starters. So, oh, and look at here, this one's already messed up. No starter pause. So he's gonna have a starter as well. All right, be back in a minute. So we're gonna address this starter later, but normally I would go ahead and clean this carburetor up. It's nasty, but we know the choke linkage is broke on it anyway, the choke arm. So we're just gonna go ahead and take it off like it is, because again, T27, 2 carburetor screws. And you want to turn it back around here. You're going to have this screw right here to get the rest of this air filter housing off. And then this thing should just come right off. Just like that. And if you wanted it, if you're taking this and breaking it down, you can go ahead and flip this over and take the gas tank off, and take the gas tank and this off as one assembly. It'll be a lot easier. But we're just replacing the carburetor on this one. So I'm going to go ahead and release this throttle cable right here. Wow. And get rid of these fuel lines. We're going to check those later on. Now, and then the carburetor should just pop loose like that. Like I said, it's nasty, but I'm not going to worry about it right now, because that carburetor is, like they say, Dunsky, because that shaft's broke. And it looks like it was a, let's see, yeah, look right there, clean break. So I don't know how that happened, but it happened. So now we're going to clean all this area up right in here, and I'll get back with you. Okay guys, so this is the old carburetor that came off of it, and the choke shaft right here is broken off. This is what one should look like. So you put them back to back. This whole shaft is broken off, right? So at first I was going to just put another carburetor on it, but I've got some old ones that don't work, and we are going to change this choke shaft out. And in order to do that, we have to take the butterfly valve off of this one, take this end piece off, and then this choke shaft will slide out. Now the only trick to this, so this is the broken one, and I've already taken the butterfly valve off. And the only trick to this is this spring on this side right here. It's got, you can see, hopefully, you can see it's got a little nub sticking off of this side, and then right here, this piece here hooks back around here. And it's a little tricky to get it in and get it back in, but you'll slide the new one, we'll take it, and you'll slide the new one back in through here. And there's 2 little bitty holes. Let me show you. So imagine this fitting around the shaft, right? There's a little bitty hole, and you can't see it, but it's right there. That this end of the spring, I'm trying to get you on here good to show you, but I can't. So that spring will slide down into that hole, and then it's got to go around the shaft when you put the shaft in, and this part clips back on. It's a little tricky, but if you pay attention when you're taking it apart, you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm going to try to show you. Well, I'm not going to be able to show you, but if you look very close on this one right here, you can see where it hooks around the top part of the shaft here, and then the bottom nub goes in the carburetor. There's a little tiny hole right there. Now you got to do some finagling. You're going to have to hold the throttle back and a few other things. And I'm not going to be able to get into detail, but we can change the choke shaft, so that's what we're going to do. Sorry I can't be more detailed, but that's going to be the repair on this carburetor. Okay guys, so also there's one little bitty thing I forgot when I was showing you. There's a little bitty C-clip that holds this choke shaft on the opposite side too. So you got to get that off and put it back on. So we've got this carburetor back together, ready to go. Now we're going to put it back on the machine. Together, you can slide the carburetor back on, get it fitting in here, but you want to make sure that you get these fuel lines routed back in their little holders here, because when you go to put it back on, you don't want them to get pinched against the backing here. And this other little channel here is where your throttle cable will come up. It'll come up through here, just like that, and go into this piece right there and hook on there. And then the whole assembly sits back up on the machine. So make sure you get these routed right, because you'll pinch the fuel lines and you'll have trouble. This is what it'll look like when you've got it in there right. Just like that. And then this piece will fit, this air filter housing will go right back up against the machine like that. Alright. And while we were here, we went ahead and changed the primer bulb out on it, so we got the brand new primer bulb. And we'll move on. So you'll want to make sure that you, when you're sliding the carburetor back on, that you get this crankcase vent tube hooked back up to the bottom of the carburetor. I'm going to go ahead and attach the carburetor and air housing back on, but we're going to have to pull this cover off here too, because we're going to adjust the valves while we got it torn down. And always adjust your valves just like on any other machine when it's cold. So we'll get to that in just a minute. Alright guys, so we're going to adjust the valves on this thing, but first we pulled the spark plug. Take a look at this. There is, I don't know if you can see that, no electrode hardly at all showing. So that probably contributed to the loss of power, wouldn't you say? So we'll get a new CMR6H spark plug for this. Want to set these valves at 4 thousandths, and they are quite loose. Surprised they hadn't came off. Anyway, to do that, it's a 8mm, very straightforward. 8mm on top, feeler gauge under here, just like that, and tighten it down. To just a little bit of drag on it. If you go too far, back it off. Same thing on this one, intake valve. Okay, that's good. Also, what you want to do on this flywheel here, there's an S and an N on here, so you want to turn this thing till the S is on the back side of this coil right here, right? Just like that. That's top dead center. Well, it's not top dead center right now, this is bottom dead center, because if you wiggle it, you'll see both of the rocker arms moving. So go back around one more time. When they're not moving, right there is top dead center. So we'll get all this back together, buttoned up, get the cover on, and I'm waiting on the recoil starter stuff, and we'll fire it up and see if it'll run, see how it runs. Don't have any idea, didn't get a chance to test it before it came here. So that's it for now. So that's pretty much it for today. We've got everything back together on the blower. The covers are back on.
Can't the guy? He's gonna bring me a extra starter he has over here so I can pull on it. I don't have one hanging around. Uh, I'm going to end this video. So if you liked it, please leave me your likes. Please subscribe to my channel. Hit that bell so you can see my next video. And if it comes pretty quick, I'll just on the end of this. So stay tuned at the end of this video. I may show it firing up. But if not, I'll include it on my next video of it running before it goes out of here. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Basically, that, simple stuff most everybody should know, but for those of you out there that don't know or haven't worked on one, I hope it helped out. And that's it for today. Jungle Bob out.